Go.
Dr. Paul Enoch usually performed well in pressure cooker environments, but this was getting a bit ridiculous. Sagan had asked, no, demanded, that the final recordings for the Voyager Golden Record be ready 6 months before the September launch date. Enoch complied, although grudgingly. When he had asked why the deadline was so soon, Sagan had smirked at the other scientists at the meeting and said, quote, "We've got to make sure our record is done properly. The Earth is a debutante, and this message is announcing her arrival at the ball." End quote. Enoch was romantic like every other astronomer, but that almost made him gag. Sagan had managed to get Americans back into science, though, and there was value in that. If nothing else, when the public knew and cared about a project that the government investigated, and if the project got the approval of the government, funding was sure to follow. The problem with the feds was that they took the fun out of astronomy. All the creativity and resourcefulness that had helped the discipline flourish for hundreds of years was sapped out and replaced by forms that must be filled out in triplicate and signed by the project manager who was on vacation when you needed him most. Enoch sighed, running his fingers through his hair. 150 of his students' half-graded tests floated in the abyss between the to-do and done boxes on his desk. He considered finishing one or two during his lunch break, but after a 5-minute ransack of his office, he realized that there were no writing implements to be found, aside from a package of chalk on the blackboard. He wasn't cut out to be a professor, and everyone who saw his desk knew it. The only finished item on it was a bowl he had eaten his Cheerios out of that morning. Littleton, the department head, got on Enoch at least twice a week about handing back students' reports in a more timely manner or keeping his grade book more thoroughly. Once he even pulled Enoch aside and asked him to wear a different colored button-down every day, to assure his pupils that the professor did, in fact, change his clothes. But when Enoch was in research mode, there was no stopping him. Even Littleton had to recognize his value in that respect. So, for the time being, Enoch got to keep his job. 3 newly discovered nebulae, christened after the university, the current president, and Littleton himself, kept him on staff when everyone else would have been thrown out in a hurry.